Your ideas help move this country. You are the American Innovator.
Hi everyone, Paul Akers, and welcome back to the American Innovator. You know, for the last couple weeks, we've been talking about the concept of lean wannabes. Those people that want to be lean but don't even know where to start. Well, it's been really a favorite series of mine that we've been doing, and we're going to continue that a little bit this week as well. And I really have to thank Dan, who started this whole thing off, one of our listeners, typed a little email to me and said, hey, you know what, Paul? I don't even know where to get started, man. There's chaos everywhere around me, and you talk about this stuff and make it sound like it's so easy, and it's not easy for people like me. And so that got me thinking, you know, maybe I'm really not addressing the issue as well as I could, and our goal at the American Innovator is to help everyone begin a lean journey of continuous improvement. So at the outset, I got to say thanks to Dan, because it's all you, man. You're the one that started me thinking this way, and this show series has been so popular. My phone and email and everything is just going crazy. I have so many emails, it's off the chart. So I want to start the show by talking about some of the emails that I've received, because they've really been awesome. So number one, I got an email from Merrill in Colorado, and Merrill said, you know, Paul, I really like this show because you showed your human side, that you're not so perfect. And I thought that was cool, because I think it was a week or two ago that I mentioned the fact that I was having kind of a tough week, a couple employee issues, things were not so perfect, and all the other stuff. And I said maybe a little down, not feeling up. And then all of a sudden I got all these great emails and all these improvement videos from all of you, and it really lifted my spirits. And I think it's a very important point that Merrill's making, and I think that is the key to leadership. I'm going to be talking at the nuclear submarine base to a Lean Six Sigma group that's graduating, and what I'm going to be talking about is leadership. And you know, the number one thing I'm going to talk about is humility in leadership. If you're not willing to be vulnerable and just tell people who you are and not come off like you know everything, I hate to say it, you're never going to be a successful leader. I think the key is being able to say regularly, I didn't know that. Man, you have a better idea than me. Wow, I blew it. When you can say those kinds of things and you do it, and it's part of who you are, you're going to be wildly successful. And I think Merrill's comment about me showing my human side, I am human. I've got messes everywhere. And that brings me to a very funny story. You know, Lori, our producer who puts the show together, I give her all the video and everything, and then she puts it all together and sends it out to all of you. You know, she's always like poking fun at me. That's not very lean, Paul. And I said to her just a minute ago when I got off the phone, I said, you know, Lori, my favorite thing is when people poke at me about not being lean. I like it because I can't see it. I'm blind. You know, there's waste all around me everywhere I go. And when people say, oh, that's not very lean, it allows me and gives me the opportunity to improve. And I've got it everywhere. I may teach about it. I may travel over the world, but I've got waste everywhere. And it's a good thing. And I'm really setting up the standard for what great leadership is all about. It's about being humble. It's about accepting your faults and saying I'm wrong regularly, praising and uplifting other people. It's so important to leadership and being successful and really being happy and content, because we all fail. That's all there is to it. It's just, it can't be perfect all the time. And I'm not perfect, and I don't pretend to be perfect, and I try not to come off like I'm perfect. I enjoy the benefits of things being tidy and disciplined and things working well. That's a good thing, but I'm not perfect. And I forgot to introduce you. Remember, I have my new friend over this shoulder. That guy over there, that's our new friend on the show. His name's Herman the Wooden Jellyfish. Remember, I showed him last week, so I've named him, and that's Herman. Everybody that walks into my office goes, wow, that's an amazing piece, and it is an amazing piece. So he's in the background now on the American Innovator for a while, so we'll see how that goes. So Merrill, great comment. I loved what you had to say. So I also got another amazing email, because I get so many cool emails from people. And one of the emails, it said, you know, Paul, you're such an encouragement to so many of us normal people for showing us the simple way of doing lean everywhere. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Actually, it wasn't an email, it was a post on the YouTube channel, and so I don't even know who it was from, but I just want to thank you. That's a very meaningful thing to me. But again, a very cool thing that's said there to us normal people. Well, you know, sometimes when I think back on what's allowed me to be successful in life, It's because I actually view myself as a normal person. I don't view myself with any special gifts or talents or anything. I think of everything like, how come they don't make that simple for normal people like me that don't have, 165 IQ? So I view the whole world through being very average. And why don't people make things so simple that the average or normal people can get it easily? So that's kind of my mantra in life. That's what's circling around in my brain. How do we make it easy for average people, normal people like me? And that might be why what I'm talking about is so interesting to people, because I'm just a regular guy that screws up and makes mistakes and moves forward and improves all the time. I don't see myself as anyone special with any special gifts. And I love that concept about it. It doesn't matter how successful I become, I still think of myself as just a regular, average person. So I think that was a good comment. Now, I got so many great emails from so many people and lots more videos that I want to talk about too. Bertie said something to me too. He was really good. Bertie's back on the East Coast, I think. And Bertie said, just 2 minutes a day on improvements. Because remember, we talked about in the very beginning, in the first wannabe, all I want you to do is just take 2 minutes out of your day and make an improvement. And then the rest of the day, be a total pig, do whatever you want, doesn't matter. And Bertie said, I don't think 2 minutes will really cut it, because lean is like a way of life. You have to be consumed with it. And for sure, Bertie, you're right. Lean should be a way of life. But remember, we're just talking about people who struggle with where to get started. And if we can get people started in a good pattern, a simple pattern, an attainable pattern, then maybe they'll be successful and that will grow. As a matter of fact, I don't think maybe, I know they will, because I've already seen it happening with the videos that are coming into me. All these people who are normal are sending all these videos and they're all excited about all the improvements and how much their life is getting better. And that's cool stuff, and that's what it's all about. So Bertie, you're right in the big picture stuff. We're trying to get people just to move off of square one, and it's working fabulously. And Bertie also made a great comment too that I want to talk about. And he said, the real key to life is to have a plan, and to have a good plan. And so much of that is true. I know one of my favorite stories that I like to tell, and I don't think I've told it before, is my dad once told me when I was very young. He said, here's his nickname to me. He called me Polly Wally. He said, Polly Wally, a rolling stone gathers no moss. I'll never forget my dad telling me that story, because I used to like to change, to go from here to go to there and do this and do that. And he saw me flitting around all the time. He said, if you would just focus on one thing, you'd be very successful. A rolling stone gathers no moss. So as a result of that conversation my dad had with me at a very young age, when I was just a teenager, I observed how my dad built wealth. And the way my dad built wealth was through investing in real estate. He bought rental properties, worked his butt off after work and on the weekends, drug me along. I didn't always want to do it, to be honest with you. And I observed that if you invest consistently, rolling stone gathers no moss, consistently in real estate over the course of your lifetime, you will have multiple streams of income that will allow you to be financially secure. So I took my dad's advice, and that's what I did. I had my plan of retiring when I was 30 years old. And I did that by simply laying out the plan of buying one house a year for every year I was married. So I got married in 23. My wife and I bought our first house in La Puente, California, in a barrio, in a very, very rough neighborhood. Terrible things, gun shooting, just bad crime, everything. It's all we could afford. That's where we started. And then I bought another house in another bad neighborhood in Los Angeles. Then I bought an apartment building, I think an 8-unit apartment building out in San Bernardino, in a very bad neighborhood. So every year I bought a house. Now, we didn't have any nice cars, we didn't have any nice clothes, we didn't go on vacation, we didn't do anything. But I had a plan. Going back to Bertie's comment, my plan was to retire at 30 years old. My plan was to buy one house a year for my entire life, my married life. And so I set out on that very specific plan, and I executed. Not perfectly, although perfectly in terms of meeting my goals of buying a house a year, and that's what I did. And I do want to make the comment that I didn't sell the houses. I bought one, fixed it up, refinanced it, bought another house, so I kept accumulating the homes, if you will, so I had multiple streams of income. But that took my wife and I, for the first 15 years of our marriage, basically, Well, we did some fun stuff, but we didn't do a whole lot. We didn't do like the normal couples where, going to Hawaii and doing all that other stuff. I don't think I went to Hawaii till I'm 40. I'm 52 right now. I think I went to Hawaii when I was 45, 46, 47. So I have a good life. I'm not complaining at all. But I put in a lot of hard work, and my wife put in a lot of hard work to get where we are because we had a plan. Bertie, thank you very much. Great concept. So I want to kind of put some meat around what that means. If you have a plan and you focus, Rolling Stone gathers no moss, as my dad said, amazing things can happen. So I thank my dad for that advice and Bertie for your good advice on that as well. So that's kind of going to wrap on this week's show. We talked about so many different things, the power of teaching and training, the power of being humble, the power of constantly praising other people and saying, hey, I'm wrong. Another great story of being wrong. Jesse at our work today, sorry, I have a little itch on my nose. Anyways, Jesse at our work today, we're working on the best vent system. We're doing a new racking system. And he said, I really think we should use this tolerance on the way this metal fits together. And I said, no, it doesn't matter. Just do it that way. And I drove home and I thought about it. I go, you know what? Jesse's right. Called Jesse back up. And the first words I said, Jesse, I just want to tell you, you're right and I'm wrong. Because that is the power of leadership. He needs to hear that the boss can say, I'm wrong and he's right. And there is this spirit about working at FastCap. When I go into the engineering department, which is really called the bitching department, it's not called the engineering department. When I walk into there and I work with the other engineers and work with the other team members, there's just a spirit of cooperation. There's nobody trying to ever say, oh, that was my idea. Oh, this is my idea. Everybody's always giving credit to the other person. Very humble. It's an environment where people just naturally grow and good things happen. The key to leadership. All right, well, thanks everyone for listening to The American Innovator. We're going to continue this series next week, so don't forget to tune in next Friday afternoon on The American Innovator.
The American Innovator has been brought to you by FastCap. To hear more, just go to theamericaninnovator.com.